Okay, so this one is in Danville, Kentucky, and it's the police officer T.J. Godbey. And this is new body cam footage of a 2021 incident between Officer T.J. Godbey, Lincoln County, man with dementia. Because when the most recent one came out, I thought to myself, there has to be more on this officer. And there is. Also, I'd like to note, we have some work going on out here in the yard, so you might hear people in the background talking. They're moving some hay from point A to point B to feed the horses out in the other pasture, so you might hear a tractor come through. It won't be loud. Amazon's due up here at some point. I might cough, I might clear my throat. I want to apologize for all that because I know some people are going to come here and just complain about that. Actually, I don't give a shit if you like it or not. If you got a problem with it, feel free to go somewhere else. Lincoln, Boyle Counties, Kentucky. Kaylee Randall has been following the story of an incident between Danville police officer T.J. Godbey and a Danville man with dementia for weeks. On Wednesday, she reviewed newly released body cam footage of a traffic stop in 2021. In this incident, Officer Godbey is arresting another elderly dementia patient. Kaylee talked to Bill Goode, the son of William, who details what happened to his late father in the early morning of September 23rd, 2021. My dad was an old man, and he wouldn't hurt nobody. He would give you his last $5 bill. He used to hold doors open for people while he was at the gas station, explains Bill Goode. I never seen my dad get really upset about nothing. He's always had a smile on his face. And there's some videos through here. I have clipped through past the ads. I don't know if it stayed there or not. We're going to watch, these videos are going to walk you through, and then the next, when I clip through to the next article, we're not going to go through the whole next article because it's the same thing, but the video at the top is a follow-up to this. The late William Goode is described as a father, friend, and compassionate man who always looked out for others before himself. He was also diagnosed with both dementia and Alzheimer's. Goode passed away on May 7th, 2023. On September 23rd, 2021, Goode was driving to work at the Bluegrass Stockyards around 1:30 a.m. when he was pulled over by Officer T.J. Godbey, who the Stanford Police Department employed at the time. And I've looked this one. I don't know how old he is. He looks young, but I don't know how old he is, the officer. Godbey was not wearing a body camera, but this footage from Danville officers who came to help with the call shows some of what happened early that morning. Of course, they weren't wearing body cam footage, but then they'll tell you don't go off of any information that you get that's just from snippets, and then all they want to do is release snippets, but you're not supposed to go off of just that. Also, I understand there's a crap ton of video footage out there. I've looked through a lot of body cam footage of the second arrest. It's all the same thing, it's just from different angles. So I'm only putting up what's in these two articles, and that's where we're going with it. If there's something else that you're looking at and that you think and you want to share, feel free to put a link. According to a Stanford Police Department citizen complaint filed by Bill Goode, William Goode was seen driving recklessly and in the wrong lane. Officer Godbey conducted a traffic stop, but Goode, the names, refused to stop his vehicle and drove for another 6.6 miles. Alongside Godbey, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, Boyle County Sheriff's Office, and Danville Police were called for assistance on a low-speed pursuit heading toward Boyle County. Goode was driving around 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour, and we need, 6, 8, 10, 12 deputy and police officers out there. 40 miles an hour. He drove 6.5 miles. I'm just saying. Law enforcement eventually contained Goode's vehicle, forcing him to stop. Contained, was it a rolling roadblock? Or did he just pull over? I don't know. That's why when you do a FOIA request and you get information that says stuff like contained, and then you have more questions than you have answers. Goode was commanded to step out of the vehicle and did as told. Once out of the vehicle, Goode and Godbey exchanged some words, and Goode reached back into his vehicle to get his license. They told him, "Where's your license?" Because they're like crack addicts to crack. License, ID. So he goes to get it, and they jerk him out and throw him to the ground. Reached back into his vehicle to get his license. They asked for his ID. Well, he went and got back into his car his car, his Kia, and that's when all heck broke loose, explains Bill Goode. With no body cams being worn, what happens next was not recorded. Of course it wasn't, because why would it be recorded? The complaint reads that Officer Goodby and a Lincoln County Sheriff's deputy pulled Goode back from his vehicle. Goode then tensed up and resisted officers. This prompted Goodby to deliver 2 knee strikes to his thigh. This is a, can't remember if this one's 66, anyway, 60s and 70s-year-old man. 2 knee strikes to his thigh. Goodby and several other officers took him to the ground, where officers attempted to put Goode's hands behind his back, but Goode refused. After Officer Godbey then delivered 1 cycle from his taser in drive stun mode and handcuffed Goode. Drive stun. Anyway, what probably happened was a bunch of them took him to the ground, and they're pulling on his arms in different directions, and one's trying to get him in cuffs, and he can't because another officer's pulling. That's resisting. This is pure bullshit. The document continues to explain Goode sustained scrapes, scratches, and bruises from the asphalt and was evaluated by the Boyle County EMS. In photos provided to the news by Bill Goode, his father is pictured with black and blue bruises littering his face and body, with a bandage on his arms and several cuts covering his face, hands, and arms. When you hear a phone call that your dad got beat up by cops and you see pictures afterwards and a cop admitted to you, describes Bill Goode, I called him at the Stanford Police Department. They connected me with Officer Godbey, and he confirmed that he did use force because he thought my dad was drinking or on drugs. Of course he did. That's always their excuse. Officer safety. Bill says his dad was not on drugs or under the influence. A breathalyzer test was conducted that indicated William's BAC, blood alcohol content, was 0. In the body cam footage, Danville police officers are heard discussing the incident, confirming his blood alcohol content was 0 and his Jeep was normal. Normal? Was it? Well, what's abnormal for a Jeep? 3 tires instead of 4? I don't know. Confirming his blood alcohol content was 0 and his Jeep was normal. They also acknowledged Goode had some pretty good injuries and that they had never worked with Godbey before. It makes me angry because I couldn't do nothing for him at the time, and now he's gone, said Bill Goode. I've been reliving it like it was yesterday. It hurt me. A little man like that should not be a cop anywhere. Received a statement from Helton, a defense attorney with a law firm. Again, a rush to judgment. Again, no evidence of alcohol below 0 on PBT, that's portable breath test. Portable breath tests are not admissible in court. What they do is they give you a portable. Anything shows up on it, they'll say, hey, well, we'll take it down from an intoxicated, which is a big-ass machine. Back in the day, you used to call it, I know it's been upgraded since then. Back in the day, they'd call it dollar drunk because you can sit there and you can turn it and it can read anything you want it to read. Anyway, again, an elderly person with dementia subjected to excessive force and violence. Again, T.J. Godbey is involved, and now he continues to roam our streets with the power of the badge. Surely those at City Hall can, at the very least, put him on administrative leave. Are our elected officials truly and honestly doing their due diligence? They are not, and they don't care because, you know what? They have no accountability either. Ephraim Helton, defense attorney with Helton Law Office, in a Facebook post, Bluegrass Stockyards, where William Goode used to work, said this about him. Bluegrass Stockyards was sad to learn of the passing of longtime employee Will Goode. Will was a loyal employee that loved working at Bluegrass. Will had a quiet demeanor and was more than willing to help out anyone at any time. Bluegrass Stockyards Facebook page says, because they don't want the cops come fucking with them either, so they're going to be nice. All cops ain't bad, for number one. You got about 15 to 20% of cops are bad. Watch out for those. Record everything. Bring your phones out and start recording, because 9 chances out of 10, not all cops have body cams, said Bill Goode, and he is correct. The investigation was closed on November 8th, 2021. Godbey's use of force was found not unreasonable or excessive responses to the resistance displayed by Goode, according to the citizen's complaint. A rally for justice for the Danville man with dementia is set to take place on Monday, February 10th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. outside the Danville City Hall. Now, this was from a couple years ago and whatnot, but yeah, so we can't figure out why this shit keeps happening. Well, this is why it keeps happening.
In other news, we're following through on the story of an incident between Danville police officer T.J. Godbey and a Danville man with dementia. Today, our Kaylee Randall reviewed newly released body cam footage from a traffic stop in 2021 that shows Officer Godbey arresting another elderly dementia patient whose son talked about what happened to his late father. Now, we want to warn you, the graphic images may be disturbing to some viewers.
The late 74-year-old William Goode, a father, friend, and compassionate man who always looked out for others before himself. He was also diagnosed with both dementia and Alzheimer's.
I've never always seen my dad get really upset about nothing. He always had a smile on his face.
On September 23rd, 2021, Goode was driving to work at the Bluegrass Stockyards around 1:30 in the morning when he was pulled over by Officer T.J. Godbey, who was with Stanford Police at the time. Officer Godbey was not wearing a body camera, but this footage from Danville officers who came to help with the call shows some of what happened early that morning.
What is your problem, man?
According to a citizen complaint, Goode was seen driving recklessly and in the wrong lane. Godbey conducted a traffic stop, but Goode refused to stop his vehicle.
Recklessly and in the wrong way. Reckless is in a manner that could endanger others. It was 1:30 in the morning and he was on his way to work. Now, traveling in the wrong lane direction of travel, because they have no dash cam and no body cam, refused to stop his vehicle. Reckless manner. What was a reckless manner? Nobody can articulate that. And trust and believe, you can't drive anywhere on the roads, I don't care who you think you are, that you do not violate a traffic law. There are thousands of traffic laws on the books. You cannot get in your car and drive from point A to point B without violating, I would argue, at least 3 or 4 of them. You didn't give your turn signal 200 feet before you turn. You didn't start slowing down 300 feet before you approach that intersection. Also, if there's a stop sign and there's a white line before the stop sign, you're to make a complete stop at that white line and then pull up to the stop sign to clear the intersection. How many people are sitting on that line? Guess what? Traffic violation.
Vehicle and drove for another 6 miles. Once stopped, Goode exited the vehicle on command. When he reached back into his vehicle, Godbey and a deputy with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, who had joined the pursuit, pulled him back.
They asked him for his ID. Well, he went back, get back in the car. His Kia, and that's when all heck broke loose.
With no body cams being worn, what happens next was not recorded. The complaint reads, Goode tensed up and resisted officers. Godbey delivered 2 knee strikes to Goode's thigh. Godbey and several other officers took him to the ground, and then Godbey delivered 1 cycle from his taser.
This is I can't remember if this one's in his 60s or 70s. Regardless, this is an elderly man, also with dementia. Now, different states have different laws and different rules for driving with dementia, I guess, based on your level of it. But this is where we're at. They use 0 de-escalation. They use 0 training. Can we get more training? They have 0 accountability. We're about to see 0 accountability. The chief, they're going to say nothing was wrong with any of this. I know, spoiler alert. I'm just saying, with 0 accountability, what is the point of training?
And handcuffed Goode. He sustained scrapes, scratches, and abrasions from the asphalt and was evaluated by the Boyle County EMS. So when you heard about what happened during that traffic stop and how they treated him, what was your reaction?
What would it be if your father was 71 years old at the time? He would have been 75, like I said. His birthday would be on February 2nd. He'll be turning 75. But when you hear a phone call that your dad got beat up by cops, and you see pictures afterwards, and the cop that beat it to you, I called him. Stanford Police Department, they connected with Mr. Officer Godbey, and he confirmed that he did use force. He thought my dad was on drink or on drugs.
Bill says his dad was not on drugs or under the influence. A breathalyzer test was conducted. The results were 0.
All right, if you want to take a big deep breath, pull out. All right.
In part of the body cam footage, you can hear Danville police officers discussing the incident.
All 0. People look pretty normal.
He's got some pretty good injuries.
It makes me angry inside because I can't do that for him at the time, and now he's gone. And I got this reliving it like it was yesterday. Hurt me. Because an old man like him should not be a cop anywhere.
LEX 18 18 spoke with Ephraim Helton, who calls the new body cam footage another rush to judgment with no evidence of alcohol. Helton points out another elderly person with dementia was subjected to excessive force by Godbey and continues to wear his badge.
All cops ain't bad, for number one. But you got probably about 15-20% of cops are bad. Watch out for those. Record. Everybody break your phones out and start recording. Because 9 chances out of 10, some cops ain't got no body cams.
The investigation was closed on November 8th, 2021. Godbey's use of excessive force was found not unreasonable or excessive. Kaylee Randall, LEX 18 News.
We're committed to following up on this story, including the initial story that got our attention, the arrest last year of 66-year-old John Hardwick, who suffers from dementia. You can find our previous reporting on this on our website.
Anyway, I'm surprised when the portable breath test came back 0, they didn't say, must be drugs. So, where are we at now?
Danville officer accused of using excessive force against a man living with dementia.
LEX 18 was the first to report about the arrest of 66-year-old John Hardwick. Police charged him with shoplifting and public intoxication from the October incident. Hardwick attempted to buy beer but forgot his license. When police showed up, body camera video showed Hardwick being taken to the ground, handcuffed, and punched.
A judge dropped the charges against Hardwick back on January 22nd.
Now, this is the second incident. Let's not forget.
Then, LEX 18 has obtained body cam footage of what happened outside the store and from inside the hospital where Hardwick was admitted. Now, some in Danville, the community, were so disturbed by this arrest, they began a petition calling for one of the officers involved to be fired.
LEX 18's Kaylee Randall has been covering this story for weeks now. She returned to Danville tonight and has the latest on what we've learned from the officers' personnel records.
It's been a whirlwind the last couple of weeks, not just covering this case as new information comes to light, but also the public outcry that it's brought. Last week, I submitted a public open records request in regards to Officer TJ Godbey's Stanford and Danville files. Now we have those, and this is the information that we have to share. It's a story that has caught the eye of thousands of people across the country and has hit too close to home right here in central Kentucky. The incident between 3 Danville police officers and a man with dementia who was arrested and taken to the ground for alleged shoplifting at Danville Walmart. 66-year-old John Hardwick, who has frontal-temporal dementia, was arrested back in October on several charges, such as shoplifting, public intoxication, and resisting arrest. On January 22nd, all charges were dismissed with prejudice. Since then, I have been looking deeper.
Dismissed with prejudice? That means those charges cannot be brought back.
Into not just the case itself, but Danville police officer TJ Godbey, who was seen on Walmart security video taking Hardwick to the ground and hitting him 6 times. A week and a half ago, I requested Godbey's personal files from both the Stanford and Danville police departments. Here's what I found. From April 2019 until August 2024, Godbey was employed as an officer at Stanford Police Department. In the file, Godbey is spoken highly of and considered an exemplary employee in good standing. Only 8 months into the job, Godbey was awarded Officer of the Year and received that award again in 2021. In 2020, Godbey received a Preservation of Life Award for his outstanding police performance. In the same year, he was awarded the Medal of Valor for engaging in a pursuit involving an act of kidnapping. The document says Godbey's actions during the pursuit likely saved the lives of the female victim as well as his fellow officers of Stanford PD and Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. It reads his bravery is commended and respected. Fast forward to August 2024. Godbey...
Where's anything about him beating and tasing the other dementia patient?
Accepted a position with the Danville Police Department, where he works at now. In a recommendation letter we obtained, Godbey is spoken of highly by the Stanford Chief of Police and is believed he can make an immediate positive impact on the community. His file does not list any complaints or negative reviews from his higher-ups at either Stanford or Danville Police Departments, which brings us to today, more than 3 months since the Walmart incident. No matter how many awards and recognitions are throughout Officer Godbey's career, they're not enough to silence the public outcry in Danville and beyond. A couple weeks ago, a petition was started by an anonymous person demanding the dismissal of Godbey and 2 other officers. So far, that petition has gotten 18,000 signatures. And next week, Monday at 4:30, here at the City of Danville building, will be a rally for justice. In Boyle County, Kaylee Randall, LEX 18 News.
What else we got?
Case of the man who suffers from dementia being arrested for shoplifting and accused of being intoxicated at a Danville Walmart. LEX 18 has obtained new body cam footage taken shortly after that controversial arrest. Charges against 66-year-old John Hardwick were dismissed with prejudice after his attorney provided video showing him being pulled to the floor by 3 officers.
And of course, right here, his head, you can't see it because this crap, is about to hit the register thing here. Of course, he's going to try to put his hands up and stop it.
Officers and then let out in handcuffs. There have been calls, even a petition requesting that these officers be held accountable. Now, body cam video released by attorney Ephraim Helton shows Hardwick at the hospital showing officers texting and being skeptical of the dementia claim, and no officers or hospital employees acknowledge that Hardwick is intoxicated. Danville's mayor said
being skeptical of his claim of dementia. Where's his wife was with him? Why didn't the wife come too? She knows he has dementia. No, they're not going to let her come. He's under arrest.
As an external review and an internal investigation into the case is ongoing, and Chief of Police Anthony Gray says he supports the review. For more on the story, head to our website, lex18.com.
Yes, the dogs are barking.
We follow through.
Stop. So, we've read this. That's all the videos on that one. And then we have this one. And like I said, this is just a video of a follow-up of what we've already seen, kind of in conclusion.
Good evening, I'm Megan Mannering.
And I'm Larry Smith. For the last week, we've been keeping you up to date on an alleged shoplifting incident involving a 66-year-old Boyle County man with dementia from back in October. Well, last night, the Danville mayor publicly commented on the situation for the first time.
LEX 18's Kaylee Randall has been following the story and shares with us footage from that meeting. We must warn you, some of the footage may be disturbing to watch. It's tonight's big story at 6.
The Danville Police Department consists of both highly trained and certified officers. We, the commission, and I have confidence in and rely on that training.
There was no discussion of the specific officer that the public has been rallying to have dismissed.
Today marks a week since LEX 18 shared with you the disturbing footage of a Danville man with dementia who was arrested at a Walmart for alleged shoplifting. Later, the charges were dropped with prejudice, meaning the dismissal is permanent. On Monday, the Danville City Commission held its monthly meeting to discuss several items on the agenda, including the incident between 66-year-old John Hardwick and 3 Danville police officers from October 15th.
This incident is complicated and it's full of understanding. And a full understanding goes beyond sound bites and short video snippets.
For Mayor Adkins,
goes beyond sound bites and short snippets, but that's the only thing they ever want to release. So if I have to draw my own conclusion, this is a conclusion I'm drawing.
to say the public needs to see more than a snippet of videos is a disservice to this entire community. It's disingenuous. It is appalling.
It doesn't matter what there is behind the scenes. There is no information that could be added to the case that would justify the actions taken by Officer Goodbey.
I spoke with someone who has asked to remain anonymous out of fear of retaliation. They also created a petition to dismiss and suspend.
Imagine that. You have something to say against law enforcement, but you don't want law enforcement to know who you are for fear that law enforcement will retaliate against you. That's where we're at in policing in 2025.
And Officer TJ Godbey. That petition has already reached a little more than 5,000 signatures.
I don't feel safe anymore. I would hate to be pulled over tomorrow by the officer in question, who is still, as of today, working on the streets of Danville.
Mayor Atkins says an external review and internal investigation is ongoing. Danville Chief of Police Anthony Gray read a statement at the meeting claiming he is committed to an open and transparent working relationship with the community and supports the reviews.
Does he? Because he has said everything was approved, and he can't even talk from the heart. He has to have probably one of his underlings write him something up to sit there and read. He don't give a shit. Help me, none of it. No accountability.
And we will work to preserve and enhance the community's trust placed in the Danville Police Department. Our regular training and certifications reinforce the appropriate tools
That's
and
such a
tactics
joke.
to protect our citizens.
I say shame on you, Mayor. I say shame on you, Commissioner Holland. And I say shame on the other ones that did not stand up.
If we want to change things, if we want to see change, we have to come together. And you do not have to be a citizen of Danville or even a citizen of Kentucky to sign the petition and to demand change.
Everybody that is watching this, go sign that petition. I'll see if I can find exactly where it's at, probably in one of the links on these videos, and I'll put it in the description, and go sign it.
The city of Danville.
Kaylee Randall, LEX 18 News.
You can see all of our previous reporting on this story over on our website.
Also, 90% now of people that watch these videos are not subscribed. I mean, you're watching the video, the button's right there. Feel free to click it. And let me know what you think about it. Policing is in 2025 is just absolutely ridiculous, and it has got to stop. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Also, here's another, it's a 2.5-minute video of the second incident that I found.
We're following through on a story we brought you earlier this week in Boyle County. All charges against John Hardwick, a Danville man with dementia, were dismissed with prejudice stemming from an incident back in October.
Hardwick's attorney believes excessive force was used, and he's pursuing charges against one of the police officers involved. Today, LEX 18's Drew Ammon spoke with a community member who began a petition demanding justice for Hardwick.
October 15th, 66-year-old John Hardwick, on a quick shopping trip to Walmart with his wife, tried to buy 2 packs of beer, not realizing he didn't have his license. Following the cashier to customer service, police showed up. Hardwick's attorney, Ephraim Helton, explained to our Kaylee Randall that Hardwick has dementia and was confused by the situation.
He sees the beer, and you'll see him retrieve the beer here, and he very politely, nicely.
Surveillance video shows Hardwick speaking to a Walmart loss prevention employee, placing the beer in his cart, then placing it back on the table several times.
There's no effort to leave Walmart. There's no effort to run with this. He's following all of the directions of loss prevention.
Helton adds Hardwick isn't throwing his arms up or causing a scene. An officer reaches for his handcuffs, and that's when the scene escalates. This is body camera video of Hardwick being taken to the ground.
It definitely struck a chord with me.
Are you taking the lead on this petition?
So I single-handedly started the petition.
Someone following this story closely, who started a change.org petition, asked that we hide their identity over fear of retaliation. That person is demanding the dismissal of Officer TJ Godbey and suspension of 2 other officers from the Danville Police Department involved in the incident.
You never think it's going to happen to you, and you never think it's going to happen in your hometown until it does. And it just really, struck me as something that I have the capacity to do something about.
The person in charge of this petition hopes to get over 1,000 signatures before presenting a physical copy to Helton at his law office Monday.
As a community, we have to also protect one another.
This community member is taking action, asking people to sign this petition to send a message to Danville Police. In Boyle County, Drew Ammon, LEX 18 News.
That community member who started the petition adds that by doing nothing, it sends a message that this behavior is tolerated. Earlier this week, we reached out to the Danville police chief about this case. You can read his full statement along with all...
Yeah. We've already read the full statement. He said that his actions were acceptable. Anyway, like, share, and feel free to hit that subscribe button. Like 92% now of people that watch these videos are not subscribed. And I, for real, am out.